Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk with Angel and Nathaniel, an interview series designed to reconnect with our peers on a professional and personal level. Each episode will feature a special guest from the department. We hope to learn something new about one another in a post-pandemic world. Today's special guest is Krista.
Thank you.
We are so excited and happy that you decided to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like you might be an extra special guest, like
Yes.
another level of
I
special.
know about
I feel so
We're
sorry.
honored to
I
have you.
undersold that.
Stop.
I undersold
Stop.
that. I apologize.
So thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking time.
Yeah.
We do.
thank
We do.
you.
We know how
I'm
busy
looking
that
forward
you
to
are, but we are definitely happy that you're here. So
Thank you.
we're going to start out with some questions. We try to mix some personal, some professional, some fun ones in, just so that we all get an idea as to who you are as a person and as a coworker, as a peer. So that's what we're aiming to do.
That's right.
So
Sounds good.
first question that I have for you is, tell us about your role here within the insurance agency.
Yeah, absolutely. So, don't technically work within the insurance
Sure.
agency, but fortunate to be responsible for the revenue producing business lines at the club, with insurance being one of the top ones.
Great.
So I feel fortunate that I'm able to work with the insurance team and
Yeah.
consider myself part of the insurance team
We do
as
as
one
well.
of the top revenue producers. So.
Well, we do as well. We
you.
like to have you as part of our team as well. So
That's right. Absolutely. So I think I know a little bit about your past and kind of what led you here, but tell the rest of the world
All right.
kind of what led you to this career. I think you've done a little of all things.
Yeah, how much time do we have?
It's endless.
I'll try to make it quick.
It's
So,
endless.
yeah, so, when I started Ohio Auto Club, I just graduated from college and I worked out front in the retail store selling
Okay.
memberships and consignment attraction tickets
Sure.
and merchandise, and I wanted to be in sales. So I took, a position in the store and
mhm.
really enjoyed working here,
Sure.
and probably looking back, didn't even think about what the future looked like at the
Right.
time, but I did that for about a year or so, and then we had the opportunity with some management positions open in the Columbus area. So
Nice.
I became a sales manager in one of our stores and got to learn a little bit more about everything with the club. And again, just really liked everything that AAA had to offer, liked
Yeah.
the people I worked with. And then from there, we had an opportunity in travel as the director of travel sales.
Okay.
And so I thought that was a great opportunity to focus in on one business line and learn a little bit more about the travel business. So I did that for, it was 6 or 7 years probably. And then after that, just had an opportunity as a VP of travel. And then I had a couple other VP roles with membership and member experience. So it'll be 20 years in
Wow.
August that I'll be at the Ohio Auto Club. So a couple different roles. Time
Nice.
flies for sure.
It does.
When I was in the stores, I did have the opportunity to go back, and I keep saying opportunity, so I feel like I'm so
No.
fortunate to
Right.
be here. But I
Yeah.
went back and got my master's in business administration.
Okay.
So that was, just kind of everything tied in nicely. So I
Sure.
did that right before I moved over to travel, so that has helped me along the way. But kind of an interesting career path, but I wouldn't change one thing along the way, and can still continue to learn and grow and enjoy working with everyone here at the club, and again, everything we have to offer.
So you're a poster child for YAAA, right? I mean, you've sat in all seats, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've been here this long. So not everybody may know, but in your current role, what does that look like? What does your current role do? What is your day-to-day?
Yeah, so day to day, definitely a lot of different things going on for sure. So I mentioned the revenue
Yeah.
business lines. I have the opportunity to work with the revenue lines, but then also work closely with marketing. So making sure that our revenue lines are, meeting our goals and exceeding
Right.
our goals and everything. And then public affairs, have the opportunity to work with that team. And of course, we just opened the driving school last
Yeah.
year, so
Yes.
that's been great. And then I know not everyone knows this, but we also own a virtual call center here called V-Force. I know insurance does some
Okay.
work with V-Force,
Yeah.
but I work with Jack and Aaron too. So again, kind of nice tie-in to make sure that we're reaching out to our members, whether it be membership,
Sure.
insurance, ERS. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but
That's sorry
so
if she
just
forgot you.
each day is of course a little bit different,
Sure.
but a lot of financial management, a lot of
Sure.
meeting with teams, a lot of collaboration with others, and
So it's so interesting that we own V-Force. So I hear that title, that name, that
Right.
business every day, but I did not know
Yeah.
that that was something that was underneath us. So that's
Yes.
pretty exciting.
right. So
That
we
is.
own actually 94%
Okay.
of V-Force, and then Jack and Aaron own the remaining 6%.
Mhm.
And it's been some time since V-Force has been working with us, but they started off making the lapse member calls.
Gotcha.
And so since then, we've used V-Force for, like I said, insurance and
That's
ERS, and now
fantastic.
inbound membership, and then V-Force, of course, works with other AAA clubs
That's
now,
awesome.
too. So we're
Nice.
fortunate to be able to lean on them, especially when maybe our membership numbers
Sure.
or
Right.
people
It's
aren't
a great
renewing as much
resource,
as we would
yeah.
want. Of course, hey, V-Force, what can you do to help us out? So
That's
Right.
right. They obviously do a great job, right? They obviously
Absolutely.
do.
One of
That's
the
great.
things that I picked up, and you had mentioned, you kind of laughed that you said opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's one of the most attractive things as one of the newer employees. I've been here almost 2.5, going on 3 years, but the opportunity for expansion within the company to me is just makes it such a more desirable place to work. Because there's some places that you would come in and you're within your role for the duration, but to have that opportunity with different roles, there's different ways that you can take your career path. So I think that's, an amazing thing with AAA that I've found is, something that can help with employee retention. For
Right.
them to know that, there is opportunity for growth here, so.
Yeah, there's always something different too. I mean, as far
That's
as the benefits we offer to our members, so not only is it the opportunity for expansion for employees, but just thinking about everything we can offer to our members to try to retain our members.
Sure.
Right. That's right. Nathaniel and I kind of always talk about it and how, for us, one of the most attractive things coming on board was the tenure of a
Yeah.
lot of the people that we met. And so that speaks to, obviously, the brand of AAA. People don't just stay because they stay for a reason. They stay
Right.
because of opportunity. They stay for, all of the perks and all of the benefits. So that's pretty
Absolutely.
awesome. 20 years is a long time to be at a
It
job
is.
these
20 years
days.
does seem like a long time, and
Yeah.
I remember when I started with people who've been here for 20 or 30 years, it just seemed like such a long time, and to
Right.
me it's just,
Flown.
it seems like
Yeah,
yesterday.
seems
that I
like
started.
yesterday.
That's great.
So I'll get into some of our more entertaining questions.
All right.
Not that that was entertaining, but what's one hobby you'd hope to get into?
I wish, I shouldn't say I wish, because I just haven't spent the time to focus on it, but
Right.
I'd really like to be able to play golf, just be
Really?
able to, I don't know,
Okay.
be better than I am now for sure. So that's something that before I had my girls, I took some golf lessons. So I
Okay.
thought if I took a couple lessons that I could just go out on the course
Sure.
and know
Right. No
what I'm
problem.
Expert
doing.
level.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work that
PGA,
way.
got
So
it.
yeah, so it didn't
Wow.
quite work that way. So then I took a long period of time off. But
Thing.
I don't think it's in my near future right now, but it's
Something
How-
something I would like
in the
to
future.
do.
How often do you golf?
Not enough. Maybe once every couple years.
Oh, then yes, we definitely need to get you on the
Yeah,
on,
so
on there
I need
sooner
to,
rather than later.
I know. I need to try that again. So.
There you go. That's
I feel
great.
like that's a stress relief. Anytime you can hit something legally and it's okay, I feel like you could relieve
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
think
stress,
Yes,
right?
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taking swings at things.
That's right,
That's what
right.
it's all
And
about,
it's
right?
okay.
That's
It's
right.
allowed. Back to me, mine are a little more serious. What behavior or personality trait do you most attribute to your success and why?
So I like to use the word grit. It
Okay.
just, I've read some books about grit and perseverance and just really, going after the goal, just being persistent, self-discipline. But I feel like that's something that I've read, when grit was kind of a buzzword a couple years ago. I read like the Angela Duckworth book and read some of those books. And I do think, I think there is something to it.
Sure.
I think you've got to want to do well, and you got to set goals and make sure you go after them. But
right.
that's probably something.
That's
I
great.
would
And
say.
and you talk about opportunity, but really you worked for those roles, right?
Right.
You
Thank
worked
you.
you worked with grit and your assets and your attributes to get those. So opportunity is a great way to say it, but
Right.
you put the time in.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Opportunity is
Yes.
just the doorway.
That's
you actually
right.
have to
You-
walk through it, and
that's right.
sometimes it takes that grit to, get the gumption to
Mm-hmm.
put yourself in a position to be able to succeed. So I agree
Right.
with that.
Oh,
That's
thank
great.
you.
And it sounds like too sales minded. Sales was something that you really enjoyed, and as a salesperson, grit is going to be one of the things that you have to have.
Right.
You get knocked down, you get told no. You know. So
Absolutely.
that was developed early on. I would assume with that
Yes.
salesperson.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
All right, well, back to me, another entertaining one. So, what's one thing most people don't know about you?
Well, I would say I'm from West Virginia. I'm not, most people here seem like they're diehard Buckeye fans from Ohio. I'm just from a small town in West Virginia and moved here to Ohio to look for better opportunities and jobs, and
Well,
just have been here since. But yeah, I went to West Virginia University, so I'm a Mountaineer. So
Well, you're not the only one. I am not a huge Buckeye fan. So don't
That's
hurt
3 of
either
us
one
in
of
the
us.
room.
Yes,
Oh,
don't
boy.
hurt us all. Yes. I'm from the East Coast, from New Jersey.
Oh,
so
nice. Okay.
I came here and it's like, okay, Buckeyes is all that they care about.
That's
And
right.
I'm used to having more sports. You've got 4 major, 2 major football, 2 major baseball, 2 major hockey. So to come here to a college football town was an adjustment for me, but
and I'm not
with
even
you.
used to all that because West Virginia doesn't really have that. But
Not that many options.
But I
right?
cheer for the Buckeyes now. But I'm a true, like I said, I'm just a
and there's nothing wrong
small
with
town
that.
girl at heart.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yes. So you spoke to kind of your steps in moving up in the company. What qualities make a good leader to you?
I think overall, because I think this can work in several different ways, but I think accountability is huge, and that's not only accountability for the leader, for me to hold myself accountable,
Sure.
but to make sure I'm holding my team or my teams accountable too. So I think that's important. I think also communication, but that also means effective listening and,
Sure.
and hearing what
Both
what
sides.
people have
Right.
to say. But yeah, I mean, I think there's several different qualities from a leader, but I would say those are 2 that come to mind.
I would agree.
I would
Yeah.
as well. Effective communication is my big thing. 99, in my opinion, of course, but 99% of all problems can be resolved through effective communication. Usually, if there is a breakdown of communication, there's a problem somewhere where someone either didn't understand or something didn't get done because they didn't understand the expectation or understand the instructions. So
Or we
things-
didn't even speak the instructions clearly, right? I
Correct.
mean,
It
sometimes
goes both ways.
it's the
But
translation.
and I think that's because that makes me think of another one too is self-awareness.
Yeah.
So being a leader and just I know there are things I need to work on, and so I think just having that self-awareness to know where you can grow and where you can
Sure.
improve, and I think that's important too.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
completely agree. So back to me. This one is one that we ask all of our the people that we interview, and this is a way for Angel and I to kind of do our I won't say psychology test, but this is
Oh my
how we
goodness.
kind of try to figure out a person by what they watch. So the question that I have is, what's your favorite TV show? The one that you're always watching on repeat.
Well, this is going to probably be different than any other conversation you've had with
Oh, man, I'm
anyone,
looking
because the
forward to
people who
it.
know me really well know I hardly watch any TV.
We've gotten that.
We
before.
have,
Okay,
we
so
have.
I hardly
Never
watch any
before.
TV. If I do, it's I'll watch sports, and my kids watch sports. They'll watch lacrosse games from like years ago that they find on TV, so we'll watch sports. But I will say I finally broke down and got a subscription to Netflix maybe 6 months ago. So I've been watching the Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Oh, I think that fits perfectly.
I've seen it before, but I mean, it's just
It's
I
so
watch it when I'm
great.
getting, it's lighthearted and
It's great.
That
you
is
don't really,
good.
I can get ready and not really pay attention
Sure.
to what's going on and pick up the next
And
episode
not miss a
still
ton.
know
Sometimes
exactly
it's
where it
just the
was.
mindless
But
humor.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm not, when everyone's talking about their show and their series and everything else, or even movies.
Not your thing.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
But we can see the sports, putting our analytical hats on, which
right.
Angel and I do all the time.
That's right.
That
Just ask
goes
us.
back to grit, competition,
There you go.
being used to, persevering, you setting goals, accomplishing those. So, we can see how that fits your personality as far as the
Well,
watching.
thanks for taking it easy on me.
That's what
Well,
we do.
and he's right. So far, really, like, whatever it is that has been said, whether it's no TV or whatever shows, they totally match perfectly with a personality. So that's a really interesting thing that we have found. So we're gonna do a spinoff maybe.
Yeah, we will.
There you go.
We will.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm just sitting in silence and not watching any TV.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
My kids are in multiple sports, so we're on the go a lot.
Busy.
So I don't spend a lot of time at home.
That's
So
busy, right.
That's the other reason.
Sure.
That's a great
absolutely.
thing.
Yep. I think sometimes that is like a mindless thing, and there could be so many other things that you're doing. So I'm kind of
Right.
like you. I don't watch a ton, and I don't always focus when I'm doing it. So it's nice that you're out and kind of seeing the world and living your life
Yeah.
instead
Right.
of.
Thanks.
Instead of
That's
being
way
inside.
more interesting
Right.
than watching a silly
Right.
old show.
Thank you.
So this is kind of the reason, my next question is kind of the reason why Nathaniel and I are here with you today, is kind of building the culture. We're all working in different places. Most of us are working from home, and we don't see each other in the break room. Can't go over to the cube and say, how was your weekend? And so it's really important for us to keep up the attitude and the morale, right? And so tell us, in a post-pandemic world, what we can do as a company to help build that team culture, because that's really important, I think.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, first of all, I think we're all fortunate that we made it through the pandemic.
Yes.
I know there were
Agreed.
times where
Agreed.
things were tough and we didn't know what was going on, but so
Sure.
we're thankful that hopefully it's behind us now.
Right.
But it's tough, I think, to not be able to see people just because that's what we're used to. So
That's
one thing
right.
I've learned after the pandemic is we can do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Things that we never thought that we would do before. Who thought we would be having meetings on Teams
Right.
Right.
and all of that stuff. So
Right.
we can do things differently. But as far as what we can do in a post-pandemic world, I think making sure that we're enhancing our communication, our collaboration,
Right.
our engagement, and that may look different
Sure.
depending on what department you work in, if
Sure.
you're in the building, if you're remote. So could be videos like something like this. It
Right.
could be a virtual, Teams call or meeting. It could be people coming into the office for a meeting. It could be,
Sure.
insurance, I think, has done a great job of making sure that everyone remains, connected with doing this and some of the other activities
Right.
and different events that the insurance team has had. So, like I said, it can work differently in all areas, but I think making sure that we acknowledge that
Sure.
and we have to be flexible in some ways and do what works for everyone to make sure that some people may want to watch a video about what's coming up next,
Right.
but other people may prefer to have a face-to-face conversation with their manager, and someone else would rather do it
Everybody's
virtually.
different.
So, and it's tough. It's tough. I've been here every day, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 at the very beginning of the
Right.
pandemic, but I miss seeing people.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I also have to recognize that things are different now, so it's selfish for me to say that, but I guess maybe not selfish, but just I miss seeing people,
Yeah.
and I think it's hard. So I get really excited when I see people in the building I haven't seen in a while. They're probably backing away from me as I'm
Whoa, she's a lot.
I know, but it is tough. So obviously, just like anything else, if anyone has suggestions on anything people would like to see as far as communication or engagement
Sure.
or any ways that we could collaborate more, we also have the AAA Gives Back.
Mhm.
So I know we haven't had a whole lot of activity yet.
Sure.
I know it's still early in the year, but I would love to get engaged with some of the teams and go out and help our local communities. But I think that's one way that we can all work
Sure.
together and be able to just keep our culture going.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that was one of the important reasons that we wanted to have you on Coffee Talk, is because most of our team is not in the building, like you said, and they're all working virtually, and you had a role change, and so how are we going to let the team know who you are, kind of what the role is, more than just your title and your little bubble on Teams? And so
Thank you.
kind of connecting with the team virtually, right? It's not, you can reach the masses here rather
Right.
than having a one-on-one with each one of those people and having them ask you silly questions. We're going to ask silly questions on their behalf.
Well, and if anyone wants to ask me silly questions, other than this, I'm open. So you know where to find me.
That's right.
And that's
right.
what, again, is so why we feel this platform is so important. As Angel stated, it's the engagement. And that's what, like you said, that's what's missing, is that you don't have that personal connection anymore on a one-on-one, where you can feel the other person's energy, you can see their body language, you can kind of see what's going on with the person, whereas on Teams, you're only getting this,
Yeah.
just a
If you're
square
lucky,
person.
sometimes it's the Wilson
Across the
situation.
Yeah, right. Depending on how your
I did
camera
watch
is
that
set up.
a long time ago.
Okay. So it's nose up.
Right. So, and you don't really you're missing that personal touch, like you
Right.
said. And that's important for, as I call our team, we're all a family, we're all working together, we're all striving for one goal. So to be able to have that personal touch is important. So I think, as you stated, if you have ideas, feel free to send them up the chain, and there's opportunity for change to be made. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely
because
love
even
it.
this is evolved, right? I
Right.
mean, it's kind of evolved as we do it. We kind of make additions, and that's what we want. We kind of want some ideas to keep the team together and kind of build that culture. And it's a double-edged it's a double-edged sword working from home. You get a lot more productivity because you're not driving in, so we
Right.
probably work more than we would have in the building, but we don't see humans. And
Right.
so how do we kind of bridge that gap?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And for the last and final question that we ask everyone,
Mhm.
and this is one, if you know, feel like singing, you're more than welcome to do that.
Any
You don't
dance?
want that.
Any dance moves?
Oh my goodness, you've had
we welcome that as well. But what's one song or artist that you're embarrassed to admit that you like?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I don't get embarrassed very often
We've had a couple
anymore.
people
I'll tell you
of
my
those
can I
too.
tell you my favorite song? And then I'll tell you
Sure.
one I like on the
Yes.
radio that
Yes.
kind of like makes me turn the volume
See,
up.
did you see the
Yeah.
dance?
Oh, yeah,
Did
that's
you see
right.
the
That was
dance?
dancing-ish. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So my favorite song is Country Roads by John Denver.
Okay.
So
Love it too.
That's a great
Yeah.
one.
that's my favorite song. But I like that song that's on the radio. I sound like a real old person on the radio. I can't speak for it.
Radio, what's
But it's that Cold Hearted, that Dua Lipa, Elton John song.
Oh, I don't
We should
know
play
it.
I haven't.
Play it to wrap it up.
We
But
should have.
I
I
like
should.
it. I don't know if I've listened to the words, but when I hear it on my way to work, I turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
Love that. That's great. That's awesome.
I think it's called Cold Hearted or something.
So we're gonna need to get the lyrics and superimpose them on the screen
Yes.
at
Oh,
least
yeah.
so that everybody
Yes.
And
can.
everyone will think I'm cold hearted.
And we can play some music in the background.
We can
as
play
we go
Country
through
Roads
this.
and stuff.
That's right. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. So that's another one that kind of is a personality thing, right? And it's funny that you say you're not embarrassed because everybody says they're not embarrassed because if you like it,
Right.
it's my thing, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, we've all had
Yes.
interesting artists that we've talked
Right.
about.
Yeah, I'm sure I
Yeah.
probably have some that you would laugh that I
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah, that'll be for episode 2.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I'll start making my list.
That's
now.
right. That's right. Yes. So thank you so much for joining
thank
us
you.
today.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Coffee Talk. Everyday conversations, everyday people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.